Hey guys, so Dragon Age the Veilguard released almost exactly 1 month ago, and I've put about 100 hours across 2 characters at this point, and I just wanted to share my thoughts in an updated Dragon Age review. Now, if you would have asked me to review this game after about 10 hours, I would have given it like a 5 or a 6 out of 10. To be honest, I didn't like the world, I didn't like the combat, I didn't like the characters. And I'm someone who hasn't really played a Dragon Age game before, so I just found everything really confusing. Like there's this place called the Lighthouse, which is a separate realm, and you can teleport around using magical mirrors. What the hell is going on with those? And there are ancient gods who want to devour the world, and it was all a bit overwhelming. But now, 100 hours in, I've massively warmed to this game. This is a game that really rewards you for the time you put into it. So if you are on the fence about diving into this game, or maybe you've played a bit and just abandoned it, keep watching this review because I'm going to break down exactly why it gets better the more you play. So firstly, let me talk about something that may come as a bit of a surprise to kind of highlight, and this is the quality of life features. And it does sound boring. Quality of life features are normally pretty minor, but stick with me here because this is the magic ingredient that makes Veilguard so good. One of these quality of life features is carry weight. You can just pick up anything. There's no inventory limit. You can pick up anything, put it in your inventory, and that just makes everything a lot more streamlined. I hate it in games where you have to keep paying attention to your carry weight and taking things in and out of your backpack. Just let me collect everything. And that's something that the Veilguard does. And that's just one of dozens of little ways that it just makes the game so much more enjoyable to play. Another one of these is respecking. You can respec your character anytime you want, and it's for entirely free as well. You don't have to pay anything, you don't have to sacrifice anything. You can just respec all your skill points, put them all in to something else whenever you want, and that just means you can play and experiment with a bunch of different play styles, and I love that. Loads of games make you pay to respec, like Cyberpunk. I think you have to collect these rare resources if you want to reset your character. But yeah, I love that the Veilguard has no qualms about just letting you reset whenever you want. We also have tailored gear, so if you play as a mage, for instance, you're always going to pick up items that you can actually use as a mage, whereas if you play as a warrior, you're always going to pick up things you can use as a warrior. There's no items that you pick up that you can't actually use. An example of this is Mythal's, one of Mythal's unique items, which you get by defeating Mythal. If you play as a mage, she will give you a mage knife, and if you play as a warrior, she will give you a rare longsword. So that's the sort of thing I'm talking about, and I really like that. Another quality of life thing, these just all add up into making a really good game. Another quality of life thing is that gear is automatically upgraded. So if you upgrade a piece of gear, you then won't find a lower piece of that gear out in the world, and it makes it so every item you pick up in Dragon Age is always worth actually grabbing. And again, just to call back, that ties into the inventory because it means you're always picking up stuff and you always have room to pick up more stuff. There is no unintended romance. So when I was talking to Emmerich, I accidentally selected a kind of flirt dialogue option, and he flirted back, and I was like, oh my god, I'm going to enter a relationship with a weird necromancer. But then the game gave me an extra dialogue option saying, are you sure you want to enter into this relationship? And there was a little heart next to the dialogue option. And I was like, no, I'm not. So I picked the let him down gently option. So that's another quality of life thing, making the Veilguard surprisingly good. But let me move on. Let me move on now to another massively underrated part of the Veilguard, and that is the missions. Now, it really only occurred to me about 10 hours in that there's absolutely no filler missions in this game. There are no side quests. Everything you do in this game really matters. And you can actually boil the missions down to 3 types of mission. Give his skeleton buddy a body and a soul. You know, you can develop his character more. And also Davrin's quest, where he can release the griffins. At the end of each quest, you get a choice. You can choose to release the griffins into Arlathan Forest, or you can keep them by your side. So yeah, every single companion quest consists of loads of different quests, and you get a big choice at the end. It just feels really fleshed out and not filler at all. The second type of mission is the region quest. And these are not pointless either, because these count towards the faction reputation. And of course, the better reputation you have with factions, the better the vendors, the better you can rank up vendors and the more interesting items they sell. So if you get a vendor all the way up to rank 4, you'll get unique items, and the only way you can do that is by doing region quests and increasing your standing with factions. And finally, there are the best missions of all, the story missions. And here's where the developers really let loose. They've put all the budget into the story missions, where you fight massive dragons and use go into cities with set pieces where everything's crumbling around you. All the love into the cutscenes as well. So the story missions really stand out. But yeah, it's hard to draw a distinction between all three, because all three are really lavishly designed. Loads of love has been poured into all three different types of mission. And that's not something you really see in RPGs, which usually try to artificially inflate their running time with little filler quests like, go and kill 10 rats or something. And I love that everything you do in the Dragon Age the Veilguard, feels like it matters. Every mission progresses something. Okay, that's it for the missions. Next up, I want to talk about combat. I have made a few videos about different builds to try out, like lightning mages or spellblades or whatever. And this is where the replay value comes in, because you can get a completely different experience out of how you approach the fighting. There's so much depth to the combat in the Veilguard. So first of all, I played a lightning mage, which was kind of fun. I was just frying people with lightning from a distance, also using my mage knife to get up close. And that was fun. But then I was like, do you know what? I'm going to reset all my skills and play as a necromancer. And let me tell you, that was more fun than any build I have played. I've also played, fire mages who can call down meteors. But the necromancer was on a different level. You could just hold RT and use your orb to just suck the life out of people with this amazing green energy. You could also, deplete people's health. And actually, the lower your health gets, the more powerful you are. So there's this really interesting risk-reward dynamic. And yeah, I was just frying everyone in these spectacular combat scenes. It was incredible. But I actually reset all my skills again and tried to play an ice mage, which was not as good, but I liked the effects there as well, though. There was something to recommend there, like freezing enemies and then shattering them was something you could only do with the ice mage. So yeah, the ice, the lightning, the fire, the necromancy, and that's all just on the mage. So you could also be a warrior or a rogue. There are 3 main classes, but you can respec, maybe 3 or 4 different types of class, like subclass. So it kind of gives you, at the very least, 9 different types of fighting style to try in the Veilguard. And yeah, it's really good. It really took a while to grow on me, but yeah, massively enjoying the combat as well. It's so deep and very rewarding. Okay, on to the world. And this is a major change the Veilguard makes over Inquisition. So where Inquisition had more open areas, Veilguard is more constrained, which I didn't really like at first. It felt all a bit narrow and a bit like the world was segmented into corridors. But it feels small when you look at it from the map screen, but actually when you go in, it's a lot bigger than it first seems. The reason BioWare kind of made this change into making smaller areas is because they wanted to move you between areas more quickly, rather than getting bogged down in one place. A lot of people got bogged down in Inquisition in the hinterlands and just stayed there for hours doing missions and trying to explore that. But BioWare are kind of streamlining it and making it so you can move through areas more quickly. But that is not to say that they are smaller places physically. For instance, they are packed with treasure chests around every corner. You've got unique items. You've got different quests to uncover in these areas. And they're more kind of puzzle-based. Like, take Treviso, for instance. You might see a rooftop in the distance, and you're like, how do I get there? You find a zip line, and then you've opened up a new route. Or Docktown as well. You can slide down different corridors or blow up walls, and you're like, okay, I've made a shortcut. And it kind of reminds me of Dark Souls. Like, Dark Souls is not a huge open world most of the time. I know there's big fields you can roam on your horse, but most of the time it's pretty linear when you're going through castles and dungeons, and it's all about going through and opening up different shortcuts for yourself, and working out the best route. And that's kind of like the Veilguard. So I really like that. It looks small on the map, but in practice it's not, and you want to explore every single inch. Just wiping away that fog from the map and uncovering the entire map is really, really rewarding. Alright, that is it for the world. Another reason I explored, actually it kind of ties into the world, but another reason I explored is for the unique items. I loved collecting these. There are 33 in the game. I've finally got them all. I actually made a guide about how to collect each and every one in that, but it's so addictive just to go after each and every item. And they actually do transform your character. So for instance, there's a ring that makes every ability a critical hit, which is really useful. You can get a pendant that makes your health potions restore ultimate meter rather than health, so it makes you be able to actually use your ultimate much more regularly in battle, which is really good. And there's things like, really powerful orbs if you're a mage or things like that. Really, really interesting stuff. And actually, every single part of my gear loadout is a unique now, because they're that good, and they're hidden away, and some of them are really geniusly hidden. So really loved collecting those, and that just ties into the world. I want to explore the world and collect unique items. And finally, let me talk about the characters. Now, this is the one part of the Veilguard that I didn't really get on with, and I wasn't really into. For me, they're a bit hit and miss. I liked half of them and was bored by the other half. So I liked Tash, I liked Davarin, I liked Harding, and I liked Emmerich. They all have great companion quests, and they seem very personable, and I like just chatting to them and revealing more of their backstories. However, I did not like Bellara, Nev, and Lucanus. They didn't really do much for me. I found the backstories a bit boring. And also, just on a personal level, it's probably just me, but I didn't really like how likable they are, if that makes sense. Like, they've all got flaws, but they're kind of inoffensive flaws. By that I mean, let's take Bellara. She blames herself for mistakes that were kind of out of her control. Lucanus also, he has a demon inside him, and he blames himself for that, but he was forcibly put through that. He couldn't really control that either, so it's not really his fault. I was looking for a bit more of grey areas here rather than black and white. Like, I actually want to make a decision whether I like someone or not. But all of them, they're largely good people, and some of them are a bit bland, like Bellara and Nev as well. So no one's really a jerk. And I kind of wanted to get to know one or two jerks and make my own mind up about how much I like them. So there's not really much nuance to some of the characters. And also there isn't really that much conflict between the companions. Like, it would have been good for them to have massive blowouts and, have a huge disagreement about one or two things happening in the world. And maybe you have to side with one or the other. And that doesn't really happen. They all seem to get on really well. And don't get me wrong, I do like it when you're roaming around the world and your companions share a nice little conversation with each other. Like, for instance, I was walking around and Harding said to Tash, "Oh, wouldn't it be fun if I jumped on your back in battle?" And Tash agreed with that. So I like that bit. But yeah, I was hoping for a few more arguments. There's only one divisive moment, to be honest, and that happens maybe about 5 hours in, when you can either side with Minrathis or Doctown, and that causes you to lose a bit of favour with one of your companions, either Nev or Lucanus. And I really like that moment because it forces you to decide, but there's only one of those types of decisions in the game, so I was hoping for a bit more in that regard. But anyway, those are my updated thoughts on Dragon Age the Veilguard after 100 hours put into the game. Do you agree with my thoughts, or do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what you think of this game. It can be a bit divisive. I've been seeing the YouTube videos people have been making, and I'm not entirely sure it's all been warranted, but everyone's entitled to their opinion. So yeah, let me know in the comments. And also, if you enjoyed this video, do subscribe to the channel, because I have been enjoying this game and I would like to play more of it. Not sure if there's that many hours left to play. I've already put 100 hours in. It's starting to come to the end, but hey, I'm always ready for BioWare to drop some DLC, because give me that expansion. I've already made my character and I want to use it more. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, do subscribe and have a great day.